Hi guys, it's Mrs. Gillespie. I decided to make a quick video on mean, median, mode, and range because it looked like after reading some of your question answers today in Google Classroom that maybe we're not too sure yet what these four things are. Whether you read over the book or whether you use the Khan Academy video or the website, one of the first things they talk about is that average is another word for mean. We had a lot of different answers for that, but mean is the one that's the average, okay? But it's important that you guys are able to calculate all four of these without being confused about it, okay? Bear with me with typing on this because, normally I would do these videos at school with the Promethean board, but I don't have that option. So, I'm just using my laptop, and to write numbers on here with the mouse is tricky. So I'll do the best that I can while keeping it quick. Hopefully you have, read the lesson, like I said, or watched the video. So both of these memes should make sense to you now. So this guy says, hey, can't read the sign. And this guy's on the 7, and the sign says, keep off the median. Okay, the median is the middle number, and of those numbers that are already in order, 7 would be the median. Now, normally you see that like on a highway, or think about like State Street here in town. You know how there's the grass in between the lanes going north and south? That's a median. It's the middle. And then over here with the raccoon, she said I was just average. How mean. So average and mean the same thing, right? So that's what makes that one funny. All right, so mean is the average, okay? It's just that calculated central number. It's a way of figuring out like what's close to the middle of my data, my central number. So to find it, this is the really important part here, okay? You find the mean by adding all the data, finding the sum, okay? And then dividing by the number of data values that you have. So if I want to find the average of this data set here, and I'm just going to type what I would do because it would be too hard for me to write this out. And you guys can use your calculators for this, but you still would want to show your work on your project. So you'd want to write out what you're doing, and then you can use your calculator to get the answer. But it would be 14 plus 12, plus 18 plus 14 plus 12 plus 20. I'm going to double check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 my data set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's everything, okay? Then I would figure out, all right, what does that equal? So now I'm going to type that into my calculator quick here. So 14 plus 12 plus 18 plus 14 plus 12 plus 20 gives me 90, all right? That's not my average. That does not make sense as what would be kind of, the central number. Definitely not 90. Well, that's because I'm not done. All I've done so far is add the data. I still need to now divide that 90. I'm just going to write divided by because to get the sign is annoying. Okay, 90 divided by how many pieces of data I have? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of data. So I'm going to do 90 divided by 6 in my calculator, and that would give me 15. 15 is a central number of this data. And yeah, if I look at that, that would make sense, especially if I had put these in order. I could see that 15 is pretty close to a central number, okay? I'm not going to go through all these examples because you guys have a lot of other resources, but I thought maybe me explaining it, since you're used to me explaining math, might help any misunderstandings you're still having, okay? All right, median. Median is just the number that's right in the middle, but here's the key part. When that data is listed from least to greatest, okay? So it can't just be the middle number when the data is in a random order. You have to make sure that data is in order from least to greatest first, then you can find the middle number. Now, a middle number means there's the exact same amount of data to the left and to the right of it once you list it out. If there's 2 numbers to the left and 3 numbers to the right, then that's not the middle, okay? So if I look at this data set here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I've got 5 pieces of data. So that means there's definitely going to be a middle. If you have an odd number of pieces of data, there will always be a number that's right in the middle. If you have an even number, we'll talk about that on the next page. So in this data set, here's what I suggest kids do. If you can't tell where the middle is, start from either end and cross numbers off one at a time, either side, till you get to the middle, okay? So I can see 4 is my median, my middle, because there's 2 to the left of it and 2 to the right of it. So my median in this data set would be 4. Now, what if you have, so here it just talks about have to put the data in order from least to greatest. Count up how many pieces of data you have. The number in the middle is your median. So if we look at this one here, let's get these out of the way. Again, I gave you the data in order. So 2, 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. So if I cross off one on either side, left, right, left, right, left, right, I can see that my median is 6. But what if you have an even number of pieces of data? If I start crossing off from left to right, left, right, left, right, uh-oh, I don't have anything. Or if I back it up here, then that means these two are actually both going to get used to find my middle. Okay, I can't say that 3 is the middle because it's only got 1 to the left and 2 to the right, and same thing for 4. It's got 1 to the right and 2 to the left, so neither of those are the middle. But what I can do is find the middle of those two numbers. I can find the middle of 3 and 4. Well, the way you do that is just to find the mean, it's to find the average, okay? So in other words, remember the mean is that I add up my data and I divide by how many I have. So I would add 3 plus 4, which we know is 7, and then you do 7 divided by 2, because I have 2 pieces of data. You can do that on your calculator. That should give you 3.5, okay? Which, if you think about it, should make sense. If I asked you guys what number is right in the middle of 3 and 4, it's 3.5, right? 3 and 5/10, 3.5, okay? So sometimes your median is going to be a number that isn't actually a part of your data set, and that's okay. That will happen if you have an even number of pieces of data. You're going to have to calculate the median. It won't just be one you can look at from the data. So median, middle, mean, average. Okay, these are like the easy one-word definitions we can give to these things so far. I'm going to skip over the examples. Mode, real easy, guys. Mode is just the one that occurs the most. Okay, easy way to remember it. Let's use my highlighter. There we go. Green. Mode starts with MO, and so does most, okay? So mode is the most, mean is the average, median is the middle, okay? Easy one-word phrases for all of these. It's the number that's repeated the most amount of times. If there's no number that repeats, then there is no mode. If there's numbers that repeat the same amount of times, then all those numbers that repeat the same amount of times are the mode. So mode is interesting because mode, you could have just a single number as an answer. You could have 2, 3, 4 numbers as an answer, or your answer could be that there is no mode. There's no number that repeats the most amount of times. That's different from median and middle and mean. They're always just going to have a single number answer, right? Here it was 3.5, here it was 6, here it was 4, here it was 15. So that's a little different. All right, mode. So in this data set here, it really helps to find the mode if you put the numbers in order from least to greatest, which on your project, after you do the mean, the next thing you're going to do is the median, which you have to put those numbers in order from least to greatest for the median anyway, right? So once you've found your median, go back and look at those numbers that you listed in order from least to greatest. And then that easily you can see as you scan through there, it's easy to see numbers that repeat because they're going to be right next to each other anyway, all right? So in this data set, our mode is 6. Take a look at this data set. I didn't put it in order from least to greatest for you, so you may want to do that, or you may just want to scan over it and see if you can figure it out. I'll give you a second to take a look at it. So, what do we think? Hopefully you saw that there's 2 5s and 2 6s. So since they both repeat the most amount of times, they're tied basically, that means they are both the mode. So the mode is both 5 and 6. Take a look at example 3. Again, not in order, so you may want to pause the video and put it in order, or maybe you just want to scan it over. And here if we look, nothing repeats. That doesn't mean that these are all the mode. You don't say, well, they all repeat once, so they all tie for the most. It has to repeat, right? Repeat by nature means more than once, okay? So since nothing appears more than once, there is no mode, and that would be your answer. You would not want to say 0 as an answer if there's no mode, because 0 can actually be a piece of data, right? Could be a number from your data. So that would be confusing if you said it was 0. Then you're indicating that 0 repeats the most. So instead, make sure that you say no mode in this situation, all right? All right, 3 out of the 4. The last one is range, okay? Range is the difference between the highest and lowest values. Now, difference, that's a word that we sometimes struggle with. What does difference mean? Difference means to subtract. We want to know how far apart those numbers are. Okay, so you're going to subtract your highest data value and take away your lowest data value. So again, it helps to have the numbers in order from least to greatest, because then you can easily see what's your highest number and what's your lowest number. So really, after you've found the mean, it is to your benefit to put those numbers in order from least to greatest, because you really need to do it for median and mode and range. So if I look at these numbers here, and again, for now, we could just kind of scan it rather than putting it in order from least to greatest, because it's not a ton of data. But when you guys have your 30 pieces of data for your data project, you're going to want those things in order. So if I look, I see I have 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's only 3 different types of numbers in here, okay? So my highest is 3. My lowest is 1. So my range is 2. Meaning if I were to plot all these points out like on a dot plot, like you guys learned to do earlier this week, the farthest apart they would just be 2 numbers on that dot plot, right? The only numbers I would have would be 1, 2, and 3. So everything's always only at the most 2 numbers apart. Okay, that's what range is telling you, is how spread apart your data is, all right? Take a look at number 2. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This one I put in order for you, okay? So then I know my range is going to be 17, my highest number, minus 12, my lowest number. So 17 minus 12 means my range here is 5. And then in this last example, not in order, I'll give you guys a second to see if you can figure out what numbers you should subtract. And hopefully you decided that it was going to be 18 minus 4. So our range here is 14, okay? Those are your 4. So range is that difference, that spread apart, how far apart the data is, okay? I don't have a real short one-word phrase for that one. Mode, the one that occurs the most. Median, the one that's in the middle. And mean is the average, okay? Average. I posted this little picture of this poem on Google Classroom as well, but I'll end the video with it there too. So, hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle. You add and divide for the mean. The mode is the one that appears the most, and the range is the difference between. Okay, hopefully that helps you guys understand how to find all 4 of those. Tomorrow, you'll be doing some practice problems in your book. It'll be page 400, 4 through 9. You're going to find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. Okay, the directions are just going to tell you to find the average, but you should be doing all 4. Now, in 4 and 5, they just give you a list of data like I did here. But in 6, 7, 8, and 9, they give you some graphs or some tables. So that just means you're going to have to kind of pull those data values out of those graphs or tables, okay? So let's see if you can do that. If you have any questions, email me or contact me through Google Classroom.